and welcome to day 2 at Chessington, and I've actually just had my first ride here on Dragon's Fury. Jumped straight in the queue. Yeah, honestly, it's so smooth compared to Spinball Wizard. Like, I forget, there's some really forceful elements on there as well. I didn't spin the most, but honestly, great coaster that. Really, really good fun. Yeah, it's a really long ride, 2 lift hills, enjoyable all the way through. Yeah, it is hard to rank like the 3 big coasters here. I love how it does like a planet coaster at the top of the lift hill, slows down. That's literally just because of the block sections. But yeah, it has obviously the really fast lift hill like all of these marathon spinning coasters do. Yeah, really, really good start to the day that. Yeah, like I said, it's not going to be a full day. I'm about to jump on Mandrill Mayhem and see what the queues. It was only 10 minutes before I got on here, so hopefully that's still the case. But yeah, honestly, really, really good fun, and it's. I think I would say the way I'd rank them is Vampire, Dragon's Fury, then Mandrill. Yeah, Vampire's definitely my number 1. Then this and Mandrill are quite hard to rank, to be fair. But I think I do prefer this because it's more consistent and you just keep going and it's just fun and enjoyable and it feels smoother because it's not like bouncy. The brakes are a little bit sharp on it, but yeah, it doesn't have that. Well, it's not B&M, but so of course it doesn't have the B&M bounce, but it doesn't have that like bit of a bounce to it. But they're still all great coasters. It's not. None of them are rough. You know, none of them are not enjoyable or anything. It is hard to rank them. Mandrill Mayhem round 2. That rock plush is, yeah. So yeah, it was running well. It does get forceful in places. It is still hard to decide after doing that, and because I said I found it quite hard to rank. It's really, really hard after doing them both in a row. Because this is really, really good fun. Yeah, I mean, I was on row 3 that time. I think the force is pretty good on there. Like, I mean, the helix spike thing, whatever it's called, I think it's pretty much a one-of-a-kind element. Is a great element, and you are sort of, if you don't like being suspended at like a pretty much 90-degree angle for a long time, you probably won't like it. Like, sort of, what is it, a yaw, I think it is, of at 90 degrees. Yeah, the hang time on there is pretty good as well. Like, it's not a fast-paced inversion, so it's quite slow as you're revolving around. And yeah, again, just that last turn gets quite forceful as you're going backwards. And I haven't done it on the back though, that's the thing, and obviously the back, you're going to get a bit of a different sensation on there. Because you're going round the layout in a different order, forwards and backwards. So yeah, it'll be interesting to do the back. But obviously you don't get to choose it. It's just like, because obviously the coaster goes forwards and backwards anyway, it's just to add a more unique experience. So you've got the standard back row, and then behind it the forwards or the backwards facing, depending on which way you're going. But yeah, I would say that's maybe my second favourite now, and then Dragon's Fury at 3rd. But that's just off those 2 rides, honestly. There's 3 really good coasters. I just think they need a junior coaster to complete the lineup.
这是圣经里的一个。
This split is where?
Go around then. Go around this way. Okay.
Yeah, come on this side so you can get to the...
Wait. 蜘蛛好。上面巨人嘛。
Hi everyone, welcome to Sea Life. Just a quick reminder of our rules in here. So number one, if you do have food or drink, please just keep it away from our tanks. We don't want it ending up in any of our fish's bellies. Number two, please if you are going to take photos, make sure that you are turning your flash off your phone. You are more than welcome to take as many as you want, but our fish are very sensitive to light and we don't want to hurt them. Number three, if we are bang on the glass, it will scare the fish, so don't bang on the glass. And it becomes a very boring trip to sea life because all the animals are hiding. Number four, make sure we're not sticking our hands in any tanks. We don't want to scare the fish again. It might get them sick, and also our fish do have teeth, and we don't want anyone to get on the end of those. So thank you very much. I hope everyone has a great time. Can you turn around? This way.
A gecko.
That's actually my other side, Aaron. Yeah. Well, look, the shark at the top. What's he done?
Guys, look, shark! Look at shark!
No, but if something.
Right, that does it wrap up my day at Chessington. I have no idea, but yes, this is this going to be the end? I don't know whether this is going to be the end. Basically, this is the announcement. I'm about to meet John Maudley because I'm doing the Vampire VIP event, and you know I've waited to meet John Maudley for years, and I missed out on the Nemesis one last year. You basically have to watch my Grand Prix final lap vlog and my Land of Lights Warrington vlog to really get the full picture. And if you've seen what I've posted on Instagram, how I felt last year, once it gets real, it's going to get real. Now, I can't film much of it. I am going to have some Aramark lunch with a vampire dessert, which is interesting. And then Q&A, which I've already submitted 3 questions, and then get to meet John Maudley, have a picture with him. It's going to be incredible. However, so the park admission on the morning was included. It's not really said whether it is on the afternoon, so I'm not sure whether this is going to be the end of the vlog. If it continues, it'll be the review for the VIP event, and then if it continues after that, I'm not sure. But if I'm in the park, you'll know if the vlog's going to continue, basically. But yeah, for now, this could be the end. But it's not going to be the end of the vlog, but it could be the end of the theme park vlog. Something that is worth bearing in mind, Vampire has been open today, but I think it's only for the people who did VIP last night, which was the behind the scenes. I was only really interested in meeting John Maudley. I bought creating my own Nemesis book as well, which yes, I haven't read, but I'll definitely read it. And of course, Life After Nemesis. I haven't bought that one, I've just bought the first one for him to sign, and you get a poster as well. It's going to be a historic day, this is. and that will be the next part of the Chessington video. I've kept it secret. I've just basically, once you've watched it, you'll know I just put day 2 on there. I didn't specify it was the event, but yeah, I need to get down to the hotel and have that all-you-can-eat meal. And sadly, that is the end of this 2-day trip to Chessington. And I've got to say, for this very short video, I did go back into the park, but I didn't bother filming reviews because I'd already done Mandrill and Vampire before. Yeah, I am gutted I didn't get on Gruffalo again. I really am. I'm addicted to boat rides, dark boat rides. They're my favourite type of ride, and I've really realised that with Gruffalo yesterday. And I am gutted I didn't get another ride on it. I didn't realise how bad I'd feel. But yeah, I prioritised Vampire, and I'm glad I got on there. But if only Mandrill Mayhem didn't break down while I was in the queue, I could have got on my favourite dart ride in the park. But apart from that, it's been amazing. Like, I mean, I haven't even... This is going to be my full review on the Q&A. I'm not going to give any spoilers. I say spoilers. It's a one-day thing. You're not going to get spoilers, because obviously every John Wardley Q&A is going to be unique. However, there's 2 things that I do want to talk about. So basically, I submitted 3 questions through the lanyard, which you do get to keep lanyard. Now, he answered 2 of them, and because I'm addicted to boat dart rides. The one was, what would you do with the former Alton Towers Dungeons boat ride? So we went through a bit of the history. Of course, it was around the world in 80 days, and people found that quite funny, that it was like, you know, Alton Towers' rip-off of Small World. Of course, that was when the park was owned by John Broome. And then when John Wardley and Madame Tussauds bought Alton Towers, they saw that ride and thought, this needs something doing with it. So they turned it into Toyland Tours, because they just opened Bubble Works here, Professor Belt's Bubble Works, here at Chessington in 1990. So in 1994, they decided to do a similar thing with toys and make it Toyland Tours. And you can see that they changed the rest of the area to the Land of Make-Believe before, and then, of course, rethemed that into Toyland Tours. But because the Swords group near the end of their life were struggling to look after dark rides, and especially Toyland Tours, you've got to think these massive scale props in massive scale rooms, they started to have a few issues, and it wasn't being maintained. A lot of the animatronics started breaking, and I've heard in other sources as well that there were some ventilation problems, and with it being a water ride, it was causing some damp issues, and it was breaking some of the theming in there. So what they ended up doing in 2006, gutting it, turning it into Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which, look, is a childhood classic of mine, but I think if I'd done Toyland Tours, it wouldn't compare. So of course, yeah, it wasn't popular, and John Wardley didn't really have to give... He even forgot that was in there, to be fair. And then, of course, that shut, and turned it into the Dungeon, which was an upcharge, and John Wardley doesn't agree with the whole Dungeons thing. The boat ride was just wasted, there's a few things that go boo, and it wasn't right for that sort of family ride system. So, when he was talking about, and this is something that I was kind of thinking about, really, would they use the boat ride? They announced that, of course, they were transforming the dungeon into Amigos in the Afterlife, which is the 5th incarnation of that building, because of course you used to have Doom and Sons, which part of the dungeon's walkthrough went through Doom and Sons. That's how they had the space to do it, and of course the other one was in the elevator section, which was an extension on Charlie, which was Trick or Treat Town. It's not really part of that whole original building experience. So when John Wardley and John Burton were brainstorming ideas, John Wardley was like, how about using the ride system as well as the walkthrough? And then John Burton was like, we haven't really got the budget for that. So unfortunately that ride system remains SBNO. But what John Wardley said is, what I'd do with that ride system is actually sort of have it as like a spooky family themed art ride. Like, it could be Day of the Dead, could be something else, a spooky family themed art ride. And the director here at Chessington was like, yep, we're going to email Bianca, message her, and get that ride system in use, because there's only 3 boat dart rides in the UK. You've got Gruffalo, Seaquarium and Valhalla. River Caves is SBNO. All the dungeon ones have shut. Pirate Adventures SBNO. Just get it used. So yeah, I'm obsessed with that. I love that ride system to bits, and I just wanted something to be done in there, because in the Night Garden's great. Of course, that's the other one that's the exact same ride system, just smaller boats, so it's only got the 3 roads rather than the 4. And it's of course got the canopies on because it's outdoors. But honestly, I'm really happy that he admits to that. He also talked a lot about like screen uses in dark rides and VR and how it shouldn't be. If you want something immersive, you've got to be looking at a tactile object. Fully agree with that. Honestly, I feel like it was in the presence of a god, because he's just. I feel like I'm the right person in this community, and I think the reason they picked that question was because there was a lot of repetitive things about Universal and all that, and Vampire getting retracked, which he doesn't think should get retracked because, you know, it doesn't need it, because with Nemesis it came to the end of its service life. Vampire, there's not a lot of stress on the track because it's a family ride. So yeah. Then my other question that he answered was, if you could relive one moment, what would it be? And he said, the opening of Bubbleworks, because he was talking about like the whole thing, the fact that when they made the boats for Bubbleworks, they went to a company, so the ride system was WGH, but they went to a company that built the boats, and they didn't really know how to build boats. Yes, there was one point where the bottoms of the boats kept falling out, and there was one point where there was a family who came back into the station, literally holding the edges of the tub in place around the edge of the boat because the bottom had fallen out. So, yeah, interesting one. But honestly, just I imagine, like, especially a dark ride, and the fact that he was talking about music in dark rides, and of course Hex is stunning, and that was John Wardley and Graham Smart, I believe, anyway. I should know because it's my all-time favourite ride soundtrack. But yeah, that's the Bubbleworks, Haunted House, the original Nemesis. I believe Vampires as well, the original Vampires before it was revamped. But yeah, honestly, fantastic, and just, like I said, especially a dark ride with all the music and the theming and everything coming together, and thinking like how your creation, seeing people riding it and enjoying it, and especially Bubbleworks, that was his baby, and it would be nice if it came back. Even though I do absolutely adore the Gruffalo just because of its practical sets and boat ride system, the fact they didn't change the ride system and there's barely any screens, and they kept the fountains as well. So yeah, and the other thing that stood out to me, and the question that someone else asked, was basically, how does the Vampire animatronic work? And he was even saying that there used to be another animatronic in what's known as the Burger Kitchen now. It used to be, the Black Forest Chateau, I think it was. And it was basically, it was a restaurant like it is now, and you used to have this organ player that rose from the floor. You had cherubs dancing and everything, which is reminded me a bit of Cadabra thinking about it. A dark ride that John Wardley wasn't involved in, but it does have the same sort of charm as like Bubbleworks and Tommy Tinkerboo and everything that we've lost over the years, sadly. Tommy Tinkerboo, that's another one that I don't believe John Wardley was involved with, but yeah. You know, and there's so much to talk about, like, yeah, but yeah, the Vampire animatronic, it's quite a traditional animatronic, and there's different valves and different hydraulics that obviously make the individual parts move. But yeah, there was one that was a very similar thing that rose from the floor, and they had 2 built, but one of them wasn't, it was removed when it became Burger Kitchen. Interesting fact as well, the 5th Dimension that is now Toon Blaster, the script was by Douglas Adams, who obviously wrote Hitchhikers, was involved in Red Dwarf. Makes sense because it's a sci-fi story. I would love to see that script. I know about the storyline of it sort of being like trapped in a video game kind of vibe. Probably one of the first examples of that story trope that's used in a lot of films now. But yeah, like rescuing a robot from a video game, and it had some interactive elements as well with buttons. After reading up a little bit more about it. With like Zap-O-Matic. There is a gravestone for Zap-O-Matic. I don't know where it is. I've seen the Professor Burt one in the Vampire queue, as well as like the garlic and the table with the birthday party set up, and they've got the cake and the party hat in the station on the animatronic, and you know the old Transylvania sign, which is brilliant because it's obviously now Wild Woods. Now the Gruffalo's in there, and that's the thing. Imperial leather never fit in with Transylvania because of the theming. So John Wardley hated the fact they just capitalised on that ride. But yeah, honestly, a fantastic event. There's so much to talk about, and I got to meet John Wardley, get my Creating My Own Nemesis book signed, got to say about the fact that I'm looking at actually studying animatronics at uni, because there is one uni that does it, and I just want to bring this world, and he says, you know, you're going to be pioneering, because I want to bring the world of dart rides back into physical media, physical props and things, and that's obviously what I'm a big thing for dart rides. It has to be practical. I love dart rides. The UK is losing them, especially like Cadabra getting replaced with Cadbury's Chocolate Quest, which makes me feel sick. But yeah, honestly, there's just so much to talk about. You also get this poster. There's a can of Vampire Lager, which I'm going to keep sealed and put it on my shelf. But yeah, honestly, and he signed the posters as well, which I've got 2 of. So, phenomenal event. And I'm sad. I'm really sad it's over. Really am. You know, I hope to meet John Wardley again, because he's just lovely. Like, he's funny. You know, he's just he's just a very friendly person who seems to get on with everyone. In like the industry and the people he's worked with, and obviously he's worked with some other legends over the years. And interesting fact about him, like growing up on the Ghost Train on Clacton Pier, and then John Burton had a similar experience with the haunted house at Alton Towers. How does this work? How do we do it? And it's just the minds of this community who focus on it, and the fact that they're both dark rides that influence them. What does that say about dark rides? But yeah, like, I just can't stress it enough. It's been amazing, and I don't want it, because I know last year how I felt after the Nemesis one was awful, and I don't want to have to do this, because I was saying, you know, people who were putting it up on social media being like, oh, it was so good, you know, and then feeling like, oh, I've missed out, and it feels awful, and I know. So it's hard. It is hard. Understanding now I've been to an event like this, it's hard to talk about that and sort of think about, because I know how I felt, and I do know how people feel, and that's why I had to just jump on this. So yeah, if you ever get a chance to meet John Wardley, it's just an incredible experience from start to finish. It really is. That Q&A was really interesting, and reading up on a bit of his book as well, because I haven't actually read it yet. I'm going to start it as soon as possible. That Jack Jay, who was a showrunner of the circus in Great Yarmouth that got him interested, the book is dedicated to him. So when I first looked at it, I was like, Jack Jay, he's the same that's the name of the person who owns Great Yarmouth Circus, and he's actually related. So that was the Jack Jay who John Wardley grew up with. His relative is Jack Jay, who operates the circus now with Johnny Mack. Really, really good to know. Really interesting as well. But, right, really good. I'm just so sad that this is over, because absolutely love this event. And there's so many more facts. You'll see things on social media. Probably shouldn't reveal any more, really, about statistics on coasters and things. But yeah, I mainly wanted to get those 2 questions that I asked in, just in case they're not on social media, because yes, I guess I'm being a bit selfish by doing that. But I did get some of the other questions in that other people said that are interesting. But yeah, of course, the day's been great. Vampire was running really good last, because I got on it near the back, and it was really whippy, and it's not rough. Like John Wardley said, it doesn't really need a retrack, because there's not a lot of stress. So, you know, and it's fairly smooth, you know, considering it's a 35-year-old and that track's never been... Of course, the trains have. But yeah, they were giving away some ride parts as well. I didn't get any. But I have got a couple of pieces of merch that I'll put at the end for Bubbleworks and Vampire, of course. Even though I never did Bubbleworks, gutted, but Gruffalo's a great replacement for it, I think. It's definitely better than Charlie. Yeah, John Wardley likes Chessington now. I think since the whole Imperial Leather thing went away, I think he hasn't been here for years, but yeah, he's enjoyed a lot of the rides here, and, you know, loving Mandrill and everything with the LSM launch, the new technology. Because of course, you know, he saw the technology of launch tracks evolve as well, with the Thunder Looper with a big counterweight, and then of course hydraulics on Rita, and then towards LSMs on Mandrill, which can go forward and backwards, and it's great, a lot more reliable. Although saying that, Mandrill did break down, but it was running great as my penultimate ride of the day. And getting park entry was a bonus in a way, because it wasn't originally advertised as part of the event. But yeah, that's it. It's been a long review, but honestly, I hope you've enjoyed these vlogs, even if they haven't been very long. It's nice getting in the zoo as well, yeah, just forgetting about that. But yeah, I feel like I've got it all out, everything I needed to say. And I just remember, like, my heartbeat was racing when he answered my question, because I was so excited about him answering it. Like, yeah, just seeing him walking into the room as well, like, I will remember this for the rest of my life. Meeting my hero, my legend, the person who got me into this industry, and now he's into dart rides and he agrees with me on everything. What a day, what a day.